and I am excited to be here this morning. Just want to share with you some short housekeeping rules. This event will be recorded. It will be made available on our YouTube channel shortly after the presentation. So we are asking that all participants mute your phones so that it protects the integrity of the recorded audio. Any questions that you may have, please add them to the chat box, and we are going to make sure to answer those questions as time allows. I do want to state this disclaimer: this event is for educational purposes only. We make suggestions, but you, however, as the owner of your business, you make the decisions. So I want to start by thanking our sponsors, Renee Scott Insurance, of which I am the owner, and also we want to thank DPI, Business Management Consulting Firm. Renee Scott Insurance is an insurance agency that takes the pain out of shopping for insurance. And so now I will turn over the mic to our host for the event, Rosalind Rice, co-founder of DPI.
Hi, everybody. It's so good to see you, even though some of you are off camera, just to know that we have so many business represented here today. So good morning to you. Where I am in sunny South Florida, it is the first day of school. So after 18 months, I've never had my house this quiet. So my mama heart is happy. If you don't know me, I am Rosalind Rice, co-founder of DPI, as Renee said, a business management firm. And we are really passionate about equipping leaders to thrive. Just to give you a little bit about the inspiration of Reimagine, we did this earlier in the year with our experts in March, and it was wildly successful. And so Renee and I, as we thought about the back half of the year, we really wanted to be able to just sow some seeds, tips, strategies, and insights as you get ready to close out your year for 2021. Just to let you know what is happening in regards to corporate America, which I like to say I'm a corporate America dropout, but what is happening is called the Great Attrition, or as the Forbes article that I read calls it, the Great Resignation, which means that many people are leaving their current employer. And if they aren't leaving, according to McKinsey, which is a consulting firm, 40% of employees are wanting to leave. They are considering it. And so what is going to happen? Many of those employees that have either left or are considering it will jump into entrepreneurship. So it is the perfect timing for this Reimagine community to kind of get together, because competition is fierce. And launching a business, maintaining a business, scaling and growing a business can be a very daunting task. So this Reimagine community, all of our experts, we are here to serve. And yes, this is a community. So I just want to do, I know people are just kind of joining us, but I wanted to do a poll. I'm going to stop sharing my screen here. And pretty soon you should be able to see the poll. We just wanted to take a pulse to figure out, are you a retail business, nonprofit, or are you a service business? Many of you should be able to see that up on your screen, whether you are a retail business, nonprofit, or are you a service business? Okay, so I'm going to end the poll. And some of you might say I'm both, like I have retail and I also have a service business. So here we go. I'm going to share the results. Can you see the results, Renee? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So you can see many of us on the call are a part of the service industry. So thank you for that. I just wanted to kind of know who is in our audience today. So as I move that, okay. I want to just start off by thanking our experts. So here we are. So here are our experts: Rosalind, Renee, Wanda, Alton, Lily, and Jerry. You will be hearing from all of them. Just a little bit about the agenda. We're going to have presentations from each of our experts. And let me tell you, if you don't have some paper, yes, this is recorded, but have some paper near you. There are some incredible notes, some incredible insights that they will be sharing. In the middle of it, we're going to have live networking, and we really had in March, we had this at the end. We moved it to the middle because it is just a great time for you to talk about your business and continue the networking. Like I said, this is our Reimagine community. So what is it that I do? I am a business consultant, and think about this next hour and a half as a journey that we're going to be on. So I am your business consultant, and throughout it, I am going to be sharing some of my favorite tips. Okay. So here's the first tip for you. Define your measure of success. You know, if you don't have clarity on what your measure of success is, then that means that you're going to measure yourself by someone else's success. And actually, that can become a very frustrating process. So for some of you, it's that you want a flexible schedule, or maybe you wanted autonomy to be able to make your own decisions. You wanted more time with your family. Maybe you've decided, you know what, I want to do this part-time or full-time, or I want to work with maybe 5 to 10 clients a month. I know that that's what I can handle. Or maybe you're trying to scale and grow $1 million revenue business. Or maybe you just are, if you're in the nonprofit space, I want to be able to have impact in my community. Or maybe you decide, I want to be able to bring 6 figures into my household income. What is it that you want? It is incredibly important to define your measure of success. So I encourage each of you, as you get ready to think about 2022 and in 2021, step back, take a look, and define your measure of success. I actually did some content on this on our YouTube channel. Renee will post a link to that video, but we will move to our first expert, and it's going to be a treat. Jerry Hicks. She is founder of Hicks Law, a law firm dedicated to helping people plan for medical and financial crisis through estate planning. Jerry holds a Bachelor of Arts from Florida A&M University, a Juris Doctor from University of Miami, and a Master of Law from Temple University, the Japan campus. In nearly 20 years of practicing law, Jerry has represented the individuals and governmental entities such as Polk County, Florida, the city of Dallas, Texas, in a variety of real estate matters, including code enforcement, land use, foreclosures, landlord-tenant, and eminent domain. Throughout her legal career, Jerry has also taught business law to undergrad business students and paralegals at various institutions in Florida and Texas. So please help me welcome Miss Jerry Hicks.
Thank you so much, Renee and Rosalind, for hosting. Thank you, Rosalind, for the introduction. Thank you all for even being here. You know what that says to me? That says you want to take your business to the next level. So one of the things that I want you to keep in mind as we go through this is don't just do what someone else told you, right? I want you to be an educated business owner, because the employees do the task. The employees are told what to do. The business owners know why we do the task, right? So with that, let's jump into a couple of key concepts for this particular talk. We're just going to talk about business structures. But one thing that you all need to remember is a person will always be responsible for the harm or damage that they cause. That's not science. That's not new to you. You know that, right? So this idea of personal liability is when we say, hey, you've caused some damage and now your personal assets are going to be held responsible for that. Your bank account, your salary or income, that's what's at stake. The opposite of that is corporate liability, where you have a corporate entity and only the assets of that corporation will be responsible for the damage. And so going back to that principle where a person will always be responsible, remember this, that a legal entity is in fact a person. But if it is not a legal entity, then you're operating under personal liability, which is your assets are at stake, okay? So let's jump into a couple of things that you need to consider for deciding which legal entity works best for you. All right, so there's a couple of things. 3 things are the big things: creation, administration, taxes, and liability. I will talk a little bit more about creation and administration in a second. But when you think about taxes, I want you to think about what concerns you most. Rosalind just said to you, think about what's success. Well, how does this business entity lead you to success? If your goal is to make $1 million, well, you want to think about taxes seriously. You want to have a talk with your accountant about how you structure your business to accomplish that. Liability, absolutely a huge concern when you're trying to make a large amount of money, but it could be the same issue if you're standing on the corner selling t-shirts. So think about liability from the legal structure idea, as well as talk to your insurance agent, right? Talk to Renee about other ways that you can protect your financial assets and still protect your business. With that, let's jump into a little bit more detail in terms of creation and administration. There are 4 entities that I want you to think about. And so those 4 entities are sole proprietorship, partnership, corporation, and limited liability corporation, which is also called an LLC. So from a creation and administration point of view, the sole proprietorship is absolutely the easiest thing to create, right? You say, hey, I have some t-shirts, I want to sell them on the corner. You start selling the t-shirts. That is in fact a sole proprietorship. I send my kids out to sell lemonade to the kids on the street. That is in fact a sole proprietorship, right? They did not do anything to create that. So what you need to understand is a sole proprietorship is not a legal entity. It is a default status. It's just you started acting and you do the thing and there you have it. There's no protection of your personal assets from any harm that's created from that sole proprietorship. So if someone gets sick as a result of it, if someone's injured, your assets are in fact at play when it comes to paying for that damage or harm that's created. The one thing a sole proprietorship may need to do is file or register a fictitious names. So if I list my business as Jerry's T-shirts, everybody knows I'm Jerry, there's no secret. But if I call it Unique T-shirts and Designs, well, now I've hidden who's behind that business. And the state will want you to register that business as a fictitious name so the public knows who's behind that business. So the next entity, I said entity, the next structure is a partnership. This is very similar to a sole proprietorship. The only difference is you got 2 or more people. Nothing else is going to change other than 2 or more people are involved in that business. So here's the thing. When you have 2 people involved, the liability can come from each other as well as your product or your service. So you want to think about who you do business with very carefully. The issue is when that second person goes to do something and you don't know about it, well, you could in fact be responsible for it if the issue goes to court. So a partnership does not take a lot to create. It does create a lot of liability. It has the potential to create a lot of liability for you. So that being said, I would tell you never, ever, ever do a partnership because there's so much that liability that can come from that. If you want to do more than one person, then you need to look into a corporate status. All right, and so the next option would be a corporation. And that is, in fact, a legal entity, but it's going to require a lot more steps to get that created. You will have to register with the state. You will need to create bylaws, which gives you duties for your officers, the purpose of the business. You will also need to have annual meetings and filings. But the benefit of that, all that extra work, is you get the corporate protection. The same would be true for the limited liability corporation. Same concepts, you're going to need to register that. You're going to need to create your articles, and it's going to be a legal status, but you will in fact get that corporate liability and protect your assets from that. So I want you to think about those things in terms of their benefits, but also remember that these legal entities are people, and you need to protect that structure if you want the corporate liability to be there when you need it. So I will leave you with a few tips. First off is remember, treat that corporate entity like a person. Don't mix bank accounts. Don't go pay your utility bill using your business checking account. That's a no-no. Know why you selected that structure and know what's important to you. If it's taxes, if it's liability, asset protection, or long-term wealth building, you can accomplish all of those things. You just need to make sure you're thinking about what's important and talking with the right professionals to do that. Yes, you can DIY this, but you need to understand the risk of what can go wrong. Excuse me. So with that, I will leave you guys with this one last thing. You guys need some help. I am willing to help and walk with you and partner with your business. I will put a link in the chat in a little bit and offer a free 30-minute consultation. If there's a burning question, you have a contract you need to be reviewed, let me know. Schedule something for the next 30 days and I would be happy to help you guys. Thank you.
Jerry, we did have a question for you. How does a business owner know when to go from maybe a sole proprietor to an LLC or change their status? Is there a certain time, or when should that happen?
It's going to be fluid for each business, right? So the idea is what you're doing creating enough liability, right? Do you need to start hiring people? Because you don't want to hire employees under a sole proprietorship. So if your business is growing and it's generating enough revenue, that's a marker that you need to put more protection in place, because you're going to have liability coming from more sources, whether it's an employee or a business partner or the amount of volume that you're doing with your business.
Thank you. That was all the questions that I have. If anybody else has a question, you can put that in the chat. And we are going to have Rosalind provide us another awesome tip.
Yes, it is already time for tip number 2. Thank you so much, Jerry. Great information. So tip number 2. So I talked about how today is the first day of school and my son is a new driver. And when he first started driving, he had 2 different ways of how he would drive. He would focus only on the dashboard in the beginning, right? And then it was like, no, buddy, you need to look up and look out the windshield. So 2 different approaches that clearly would yield 2 different results. So what is tip number 2? Set realistic goals. I want you as a business owner to broaden your view. Many times as a business owner, we're only looking at the dashboard of today. And what I mean by that is we might only be looking at the sales for today, set goals for this day or this month or this week. And that's important. But what is more important is that you're looking forward, looking out the windshield, picking yourself up and looking at your business from a different vantage point. Sometimes as a business owner, we're only looking back. And what I mean by that is, when it's that time of the year to pull all your financials together for your accountant, tax time, you're looking at your P&L, your balance sheet, you're running reports about revenue and expenses. But if you only do that maybe 1 to 2 times a year, you're missing the opportunities to figure out what might be working in your business. Let's say you're a pet groomer and you launch a new service and you haven't looked to really see how that service is working. You're going to miss the opportunity to either minimize and stop doing what's not working or maximize the impact that it might be having. So the bottom line is set a realistic view, pick your head up and look out to get a broader view of your business. If you need help with this, DPI is here to serve. You can visit our website, dpi2.com. But I am going to introduce our next expert, Miss Lily Anthony. She is our tax professional of the group. She is owner of A&A Financial Tax Services. It is a virtual online accounting and tax firm delivering accounting, bookkeeping, and tax preparation services for individuals and corporations, including nonprofits, which that's huge. Lily is a certified enrolled agent and can assist clients in all 50 states. Lily is a retired IRS special agent of 23 years, which gives her a much different perspective of tax and accounting. When you are seeking out an accountant, you want someone that has experience. You want someone who values a code of ethics and has integrity. This is getting ready to be the most intimate topic you will discuss, which is your finances. So you really want to make sure it is someone that you trust. I am happy to say for DPI, this is our accountant. Lily, we are so happy that you're here. Take yourself off mute and welcome.
Hi, good morning, good morning, good morning. Thanks, Rosalind. And your tip number 2 is perfect because it kind of leads into what I'm going to be discussing about planning and getting organized for your taxes. So mid-year tax planning. Right now, we're in the 3rd quarter of the year, and it's time for you to start reviewing your net profit and loss statements to kind of identify what your estimated taxes, your estimated income is going to be at the year end, so you can kind of focus and rearrange how you want to spend funds at the end of the year, or if you need to purchase new and additional assets. So you want to start reviewing what business expenses that you're entitled to deduct, review your tax liability, help reduce your taxes, and change your, if you need to change your business structure. And someone had asked a question about when is a good time to change your business structure. If you're sole proprietor and you're paying self-employment, high self-employment taxes every year, that's one of the tickers that you may want to start thinking about switching over to an S corporation or C corporation, because you'd be able to reduce that tax liability. So that's a good way to know when you need to switch that business structure if you're paying high self-employment taxes. Another review that you need to start managing at the year end is tax credits. Tax credits reduces your tax liability. And if you have enough credits at the end of the year, it frees up funding that you can use to purchase additional assets or give employee bonuses, or et cetera, things like that. And the last one is tax planning strategies. You need to work with a financial advisor. Every business owner should work with a financial advisor because you're working hard, you're earning your money. Now, once you've gotten to this step, what do you want to do with all of these funds and how you want to build your asset wealth for the future? When it comes to government tax planning, the government only has one tax plan, and that's the forever tax plan. We pay taxes either for the federal or state in many, many different categories. On the federal, we have the income taxes, self-employment, payroll, probate, estate taxes. Under the state, we're dealing again with more income taxes. The federal is your unemployment taxes that the employer is withholding. And then you have sales and county taxes. And there's a lot of more other taxes that's not listed on here because every state and county has additional taxes that's not listed on here. But with good tax planning, you can manage those taxes.
Lily, you went on mute again. Not sure what happened. Okay. Yes, okay. Gotcha.
Okay. When it comes to managing your deduction, your business deductions, when I was doing the research for this presentation today, one listing I came across, there was over 53 deductions and expenses. And if you really look at the IRS code, it's probably about 100. So when it comes to taxes and deductions, we can never discuss all of them or even attempt to give you I would say, a clear picture that you got to do A, B, and C, because it's impossible. Every business is a little bit different depending on the industry and what type of services you're providing. So I'm just going to briefly go over a couple of them today. Some of the ones that I've noticed when I'm working with clients that they're sometimes missing to take these deductions. For example, training classes and conferences. Many times we pay for those conferences and CE classes out of our personal expenses. But if you forget to give your accountant that receipt at the end of the year, you're missing out on the expense that you could have taken on your business return. When it comes to business meals, last year in 2020, you were only allowed to deduct 50% of your business meals. But for 2021, Congress just recently changed it to 100%, but they put some exclusions in there. In order to get 100% deduction for business meals, it has to be from a restaurant or cafe somewhere that the company prepared the food for you. If it's prepackaged food, it falls under the 50% deduction. If you're at a restaurant and the food was prepared for you for your business meeting, you can take the 100% deduction. The change was to help get the restaurants jump started in the economy. So Congress switched that over for 2021 and 22. You're going to be able to get a 100% deduction for business meals if it's prepared food. And like if you went in a convenience store, those are prepackaged items. So those items would fall under the 50% deduction. Business travel, you can turn personal travel into business travel if you plan it correctly. Say, for example, you need to go to Jacksonville for a day or two. Pre-schedule a meeting with another client or a potential client, and that way you have justifiable reasons why you're in Jacksonville, and you can then articulate in your portfolio that I met with client A, we discussed B, and this is what we had to work on during this meeting when you met with your client in Jacksonville. And to give you a little short story, about a month ago, a group of us, most of us all was business owners, we took a sabbatical and we took 4 days vacation. And one of the individuals in our group is a motivational speaker. He did what I was thinking about doing, but I never got around to organizing myself. He had several books. He brought one of his books autographed and gave to each couple. And for about 45 minutes, he ended up giving us this presentation and talking about his book. And then when his client came in, he introduced his client. So a breakfast turned into about an hour and a half work presentation for him. So he justified having his sabbatical by setting up a business meeting that everybody else in the group didn't know what he was doing. I knew what he was doing, but everyone else didn't know what he was doing. So that's how you can turn some of your business, your personal expenses into business expenses if you plan it correctly. And it's all about planning or being organized. When it comes to client meetings, it's the same thing. The client meetings, you have to be able to articulate why you met with that individual. I'm sorry, I have allergy problems. And then another good one is equipment and depreciation. Depreciation, 179 deduction, business depreciation. These are paper write-offs that you get a chance to reduce your taxable income. I didn't know my screen had changed, but you get to reduce your taxable income. The whole method about pre-planning in advance is reducing your business taxable income. And if you plan it correctly, say, for example, at the end of the year, you've estimated you're going to have a $20,000, $30,000 profit. Now's the time to buy large equipment that you may need to purchase, desktop computers, iPads, phones, whatever you need for your business. And say, for example, you need a new vehicle. If you're a service company that uses your vehicle on a regular basis, you may need to purchase a new vehicle, but that vehicle has to be purchased before December 31st. And under the 179 deduction, you can deduct up to $25,000 per year under the 179 deduction. So you don't have to depreciate all of your assets over a 3-year, 5-year, or 15-year period. You can take if you have a large income that year, you can go ahead and take those deductions and reduce that taxable income, which then reduces your tax liability. Home office deductions is pretty straightforward. If you're exclusively using your home for your office, you're okay. However, when you have multiple businesses that you're running out of your home, it gets a little bit tricky. And say, for example, the spouse has a in-home office, the husband has an in-home office, but one of these spouses has also office outside of the home. So the spouse that has the office outside of the home, their in-home office can only be used for 20% of administrative duties. If that in-home becomes more than 20% of administrative duties, it disqualifies that spouse that has the home outside of the business. But if this one spouse gets disqualified, it disqualifies both spouses. So make sure that you reach out to your accountant. And if you're running multiple businesses inside a home office setup, to make sure that you're in compliance, that you're not going to fall in that little trick that's going to disqualify your business. Retirement planning is another one that helps reduces your taxable income. If you're a sole proprietor, you're really cheating yourself if you're not taking advantage of using your 401k. And another one, the last one I want to talk about is hiring family members. There's an attorney here in Tampa that advertises, his commercials always shows his children and his wife and different family members in his commercial. There's a reason for that. By having your children inside your branding and your advertisement, you can then put them on your payroll. And just think about how much wealth that child you can build up for that child by using them just in your branding and your commercials. Because the standard deduction is $12,500. If you pay that child less than $12,000, the child has a zero tax liability. But at the same time, you can shift that $12,000 to a Roth IRA for that child. If you could put $10,000 a year, $5,000 a year in a Roth IRA for a child, can you imagine the millions of dollars they will have by the time they become an adult 20 years later? So hiring a family member, the wealthy do it all the time. So that's one of the little small things that the small business owners do not take advantage of, utilizing their family members working within their business.
Lily, we have about 1 minute left. I just wanted to give you a heads up on the timing because I know, I mean, you're just sharing some awesome information.
Okay. And let's talk about managing tax credits. Tax credits, there's a couple of tax credits that you can look into, either your life earning tax credits or opportunity credits, which is relating to taking college courses, and which would then reduces your tax liability. And just again, deductions reduces your taxable income. Taxable income determines then what your tax liability is. And lastly, I'm going to talk about managing your tax strategies and working with your tax advisor. Jerry talked about the estate plan, about setting up your business structure and things like that. You also want to talk with your tax advisor about asset protection, updating your will, general and business power of attorney. Yes or no, if something happens to you, you have someone in place to continue to run your business if something comes up. So having that general or either business power of attorney is important. Setting up your self-directed IRA accounts, which needs to be done before December 31st. And life insurance annuities is another one that you can set up before December 31st, which then you can shift some of your net profits into these accounts, which then helps to build up asset wealth for the future. And having said that, in closing, managing taxes and talking about taxes, as you can see, it takes a lot. And I ran out of time and it's just impossible to talk about all of the tax tips and different things that you need to do to manage your taxes. But my website is listed up on the screen. You can contact me for a free consultation, a tax consultation. I can review the tax returns and answer any questions that you may have. And I also have a book that I'm going to give to the first 3 individuals. It's called How Money Works, and I will give that book out if you list your address in the consultation screen when you register for a consultation. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Lily. And for individuals, I know you were short on time. You provided some really great information. And so definitely make sure to reach out and to contact Lily. I love how our speakers dovetail together, Lily and speaking and referencing back to Jerry, also talking about meeting with a financial advisor. We're going to have Alton up later. And so Really, really great information, Lily, and I do appreciate it. So Rosalind, guess what time it is? Another tip.
It's time for tip number 3. Tip number 3 is your unique selling proposition. This is one thing that I said in March, I'm gonna say it again. It is important for you to know the problem that you solve. Many times when we're introducing ourselves at networking events or even the content that we have on our website or social media, we're talking about what we do. But you have to think about, for that potential client or customer, what is the problem that they have and what is your product or service able to solve? So what do I mean by this? You're not just a roofer, you're not just a retail consultant, you're not just an insurance agent. Renee went through this process with DPI for Renee Scott Insurance, and she used to just always lead in, I'm an independent insurance agent, I'm an independent insurance agent. When you say those words, that is confusion for just the regular person. You know, insurance is painful, it's confusing, it's just another bill you have to pay. So she changed, she added an end of, at the end of her on take with her clients, she added a survey and she really dug into what is the problem that she solves. And what she found out was, number one, that she was able to find affordable insurance. And number two, she took the pain out of shopping. So now when Renee introduces herself, she leads in with her unique selling proposition. I'm an independent agent that takes the pain out of insurance shopping. She focuses on the impact that she makes for her client. And so, Renee, I just wanted to ask, has that helped in your approach with all of your messaging?
Significantly, significantly. It really has.
Okay. So the keywords that you will be using as far as SEO, when you think about your unique selling proposition, you use it on everything: billboards, email announcements, social media, websites, direct mail, introducing yourself at networking events. Focus on what is the problem that you solve. And again, tip number 3, DPI is here to help. If for any reason you're just like, I don't know what mine is, we can help you with that. So we are going to move on to our insurance professional, which is Renee Scott of Renee Scott Insurance. She is co-founder of DPI, but also the owner of Renee Scott Insurance, offering a portfolio of insurance and financial services. She is an independent agent that does what? Takes the pain out of insurance shopping. She is a risk taker. She is an entrepreneurial, goal-driven, influential. Those are just some of the words that people use to describe Renee throughout her career. She is a trailblazer in her industry that is only 2% African-American, and she has served in the insurance space for over 25 years. So, Renee, so happy to have you with us.
All right, let's do this. So I want to start with a chat question. I want to know, put in the chat for me, where is your business located? Do you have are you in home or are you in an office? So where is your business located? Maybe you have retail space. I would like to know. So put that in the chat. So I see some are in the office. Okay, some are home, some have retail space. I see a lot of working from home. Okay. So there's a mix. And what I wanted to kind of show in this question is that no matter where your business is located, whether it is at home, or you're in a retail space, or you're in an office, wherever your business is located, you need to make sure that that business is properly insured. So one of the most basic levels of insurance is general liability. A lot of individuals have heard of general liability, but you may not fully understand what general liability is for. And so it is the basic of all protection for your business, and it protects you in the event of a lawsuit. So it protects you and provides coverage if you find that you have claims made against you or your business. I want you to think about, maybe you have office space or retail space. Someone slips and falls, you get sued. It's going to cover you. Maybe you market, advertise and you get blamed for slander, defamation of character, it's going to cover you. Maybe you're a contractor of some sort and you're doing a repair in someone's home and you cause damage to that home. It is going to protect you. So you want to consider this insurance if you meet with clients face to face. If you have access to customers' property, think about like a dry cleaner. Maybe you are someone who does arts and crafts and you have shirts or something that you are providing. If you have access to someone's property, you want to have general liability insurance. If you're advertising, marketing your business, if you are renting property, maybe you have a landlord and your landlord is requiring you to have general liability. Or it's needed for a contract. A lot of times, if you're going to enter into a contract, maybe with a festival or a fair or the county, they're going to require for you to have general liability insurance. And it provides you some really great protection. And can I tell you, a lot of times it's so affordable. So many individuals think that liability insurance is expensive, but it is not. Some policies you can find for general liability, depending on what type of business you have, for as little as $20 a month. But man, does it cover you well. Now, another type of insurance is professional liability insurance. I want you to think about if you provide some type of professional service to your clients. Think about agents, myself, independent agents, consultants, attorneys. If you are doing any of that, you want to protect your business with professional liability insurance. It is going to protect you if you are sued for negligently performing a service or providing information that was negligent, okay? Even if you hadn't made a mistake. So consider this insurance if you, as I said, provide a professional service. It is often referred to as errors or omissions insurance, okay? Even attorneys, consultants have it. Regularly giving advice to clients, you're going to need professional liability insurance. And a lot of times this is required as well if you are entering into a contract where you are providing your services. I want to share this as well. If you utilize 1099 contractors, if you have general liability insurance, if you have professional liability insurance, then you also want to make sure that that independent contractor that is operating on your behalf also has that same level in insurance. So when you enter into that contract, you want to make sure that they have that insurance as well. All right. So the next type, and I'm only wanting to cover 3 types because I don't want to inundate you with all the different types of insurance, but these are the top 3 types of insurance that are most commonly needed for business. Now, business personal property. A lot of times we don't understand that your general liability policy does not cover your business personal property. And so when you think about business personal property, that's going to be protection for your property, those movable items that are owned by your business. I have a picture here on this slide that shows inventory. If you have a retail shop, that's what your business personal property is. Maybe you're moving into a retail space and you're doing improvements and betterments to that space, maybe painting the walls, doing the floors, adding some shelving to the walls. All of that is considered your business personal property. Fixtures, computers, phones, all of that is considered your business personal property. It is not covered under your homeowner's policy. It is not covered under your renter's policy. Even if you have a home-based business, it is not covered. So you want to make sure that you have business personal property, okay, for basically everything except for the building itself. So I am going to share my screen because I want to just show you a quick video on general liability insurance. Because if you're on this call, most likely you're either thinking about starting a business or you already have a business. And if you don't have general liability, the most basic, as I said, of insurances, you want to make sure that you get it. So let me share my screen, my sound, and pull up this video.
What is general liability insurance? If you're like a lot of small business owners, you're not left with a lot of time to think about the what ifs. But the truth is, things happen, and things can go wrong. Say a customer slips on your floor and breaks a wrist, or an employee causes damage while working in a customer's home, or one of your products injures somebody or damages their property. That's why it's important to have general liability insurance. Consider a potential judgment or settlement plus the legal expenses. The costs can add up quickly. General liability insurance helps cover the costs associated with a claim against your business. Here are 3 typical coverage features included in a general liability insurance policy. Premises liability, for bodily injuries to customers or other people not employed by your company. Products liability, for damage to property or bodily injury to people caused by your products or services. And personal and advertising injury, which helps protect your business from the costs related to claims of slander, copyright infringement in your advertising, and more. Don't let a liability claim derail the plans and aspirations you have for your business. To get started with general liability and other business insurance solutions, contact a Travelers Independent.
All right, so I just wanted to share that because when you see it in a video, it allows you to really understand what that coverage provides. All right, and so as we bring up the I was going to provide some banking tips because my banker was actually supposed to be on here, but he is not. He wasn't able to make it. And so I'm going to just save those tips that he had with regard to the top 3 tips as it pertains to banking when you are a small business owner. And when we send a wrap-up email, I will put that information in there. We're also going to interview him and have it on our YouTube channel. But that is it for me. If you have any questions.
We do have a question, and this is
Okay.
from Antoine. It says, yes, we carry general liability. Would we need professional as well? How do we add business personal property?
Oh, that's a great question. And Antoine, I don't know what type of business do you have. So if you are providing any type of professional service, Antoine, then you definitely want to make sure that you also have professional insurance. Think about consulting, when you think about a professional service. Now, business personal property is something that you can add to the policy. And so it's all going to be a separate policy that you have. Okay, so your event production and audio visual. So in part of your general liability includes products completed. So there's a little bit that is built into your general liability policy. And so you can have that professional liability as an added benefit, but just know inside of your general liability policy, because of the business industry that you're in, you do have some protections there. Now, as far as your AV equipment, things of that nature, that would not be covered. And so you would need a separate policy for that. And that is something that we would just ask you to provide us information regarding what that is. We really just need to know the amount that we need to cover, and then we can provide you a quote. If you don't have an insurance professional that is helping to guide you, you can just give my offices a call. And I do want to just end by saying there is a lot to business insurance. I didn't even cover workers' compensation and things of that nature. I don't expect any of you to know the ins and outs of business insurance. That's what you have a professional in for. I want to just deter you from just buying something online, quick and easy, and not speaking with a professional regarding your insurance needs.
Thank you so much, Renee. So now we are getting ready to move into our live network. And look, we've had an insurance, tax, and the attorney. It is time to just kind of, go and network with each other. So I am going to have you, there will be a little prompt for you to join the room. And so enjoy.
Oh, it feels good to just JMCI. Who's that? Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back.
We had a good discussion in our group.
I
You
bet.
did?
Yes.
Awesome.
We
With
talked
Dr.
we talked about
Crystal.
marketing those children and getting them 401k
Yeah.
set up for the wealthy do it all the time.
That was great insight. And
do it
I
all
was
wonder why
great.
the little car people always got their kids up there.
And you know which attorney I was talking about, that Culpepper? You ever know seen his
Culpepper
commercial?
and Curl.
Yes,
Yeah.
them kids are in his commercial all the time. It's for a reason.
Oh, wow. Okay. I'm glad you shared that. Welcome back, everybody. We hope you had great time together. It always goes kind of fast, but we do want to respect and stop right at 11:30. But we hope you had some good conversations
Yes.
together.
And I think, as Lily was saying, we're going to all put our kids in some of our videos. I think that's what we're going to do now. All right. So live networking done. We've had 3 of our experts. Now we move to Alton Scott. He is the owner of REAP Insurance Group. He is an insurance and financial services professional with over 20 years of industry experience with Fortune 500 companies such as Bank of America, Prudential Financial, and Citigroup. Alton established REAP Insurance Group, an independent insurance and financial services firm that caters to the concerns of business owners and their families. The company slogan is sow, grow, reap. Alton is passionate about helping clients sow seeds of financial prosperity, utilizing the planning process, effectively grow, protect their wealth so that they can reap the benefits of their sacrifice. When all is said and done, the goal for the client and their family is to harvest and enjoy the financial fruits of their labor. So let me share and welcome Alton. We are so happy that you are with us.
Well, thank you, Rosalind and Renee, obviously, for allowing me to present at this event. Again, we have gone through a lot this last year. And as Rosalind mentioned earlier about the number of new businesses that are being created, the transitions that are taking place because of the pandemic, small business has been the engine and will always be the engine for this particular country. So as we begin to think about our businesses, I'm gonna work this in, Rosalind. As we reimagine, I want you to think higher of your business, okay? I want you to think higher. I want you to have a higher vision for your business. Let me give you some quick statistics really fast. Small businesses with fewer than 500 employees make up 99% of all businesses in America. Your business is important. 10.5 million jobs were created between 2000 and 2019. 10.5 million jobs were created. 65% of those were net new jobs were created by small businesses. Your business is important. 32% of businesses are owned now by our women, our queens. That's a 13% increase over prior years. Listen to this, $48 of every $100 spent at small businesses stays local. Your business is important. And 5.1 million PPP loans in 2021 went to businesses with fewer than 10 employees. And I think overall about 6.6 something and some change of end of loans, PPP loans that were issued, good 80% of them went to businesses with 10 or fewer individuals. Your business is important. And that's why I'm so passionate about being able to talk with you about succession planning. And I know that that word itself, that phrase itself means a lot of different things to a lot of different people. But to bring it down for you in a nutshell, succession planning is a process that encompasses a range of steps aimed at ensuring the continuity of the business through generations or the transition of that business. A good succession plan will do a few things, like identify a qualified and able successor, secure the financial well-being of the owner and spouse following retirement or transition. It includes estate planning, and it provides for contingencies in case the owners or individuals in that entity structure become disabled. Okay, I believe managing succession is the task that is most critical to securing the future of private enterprise in the United States. And failure to plan and manage succession is the greatest threat to the survival of family businesses, I believe, today. Not taxes, not just taxes, not just liability, but the successful transition of that business, extracting that wealth and then transitioning that wealth to the next generation in some particular way. That's what I believe is the greatest threat, or one of the greatest threats, to the survival of small businesses. Now, within my profession, in most cases, owners really begin to think about this seriously, maybe 10 to 15 years prior to that retirement date or that time that they wish to transfer the business, when really this should be a journey right from the beginning. The team that you have here that encompasses your tax, your estate planning, your investments, insurance, all of those things are all part of creating and sustaining this wealth to be able to then at some particular point, if this is your goal, extract that wealth and transition that business to the next generation. I'm gonna give you a quick statistic before I move on. Less than 1/3 of family businesses survive into the second generation. Less than 1/3. And only about 13% make it to the third generation. So for many individuals, depending upon what your goal is, having this in mind and determining what your long-term plan will be and your vision for your business is important. Now, the vision may change. You may receive some insight after working your business that will allow you to create your wealth more quickly, give you more opportunities, but at least write the vision in the beginning and make it plain. So what I'm going to do is I really want to focus instead on the success of your business within succession planning. So first, let's talk about a few steps that will help you increase the value of your business. I don't care if your business is 1 month old, 1 year old, 10 years old, 20 years old. If you are implementing these things, you will continue to help the wheels of success turn in your business. So the first thing, begin with the end in mind. As Rosalind talked about, setting goals, having a vision. As I said, we're at the Reimagine conference. Think higher about your business and begin with the end in mind. Create a plan, have steps throughout that business transition that throughout that business's lifetime that includes transitioning that business when you decide to retire, or unfortunately, if you become disabled. Now, I realize some of you may not be at that particular point, or that may not be your goal consistently, but at least have a vision for your business, have a plan. Number 2, run your business as if it will be sold tomorrow. Now, we're talking about increasing the value of your business. Demonstrating operational and financial integrity will always yield dividends when you're looking at your business. Again, you have Lily, you have myself, you have Rosalind and Renee, you have Jerry as part of your team, okay? The next thing, charge a fee worthy of your expertise and service. So many times I see business owners that undercut and undervalue themselves. You can find ways to bring value to the client while respecting your value as an expert or as a service provider and business owner. So with that being, I'm going to close with a few tips. What are buyers willing to pay for? So if we're going to increase the value of our business, if we want to transition our business, if we want to grow and create wealth and preserve it, let's run through these 8 tips real quick. This is what buyers who are looking at your business are willing to pay more for. 1, upward trends in sales and profit. 2, attractive products and services in high demand. 3, focused marketing programs based upon defined marketing segments. Know your numbers. What is the cost of acquisition for your client, and is that reflected in your prices? Number 4, do you have competent and trained staff executing their roles? This is where I see a lot of business owners begin to fail. They hold on to the reins too tight. Enable and others to execute their roles. Number 5, up-to-date facilities and equipment. 6, standard procedures and policies in place that help lead to success. Number 7, reliable financial statements and internal management controls. And number 8, no regulatory issues or potential litigations that could affect the cash flow that this investor is looking to obtain by the purchase of your business. I'll end by saying your business is important. Take the time to reimagine and envision, think higher of your business, and let us help you grow and protect your wealth so that you can then transition it to the next generation.
Alton, we did have a question. For some of those individuals that are looking to get an SBA loan, one of the requirements of them having that loan is to have life insurance for some of the varying loans. Is that something that you are able to assist your customers with?
Absolutely, absolutely. We can do that. We're quite knowledgeable and versed in that. Obviously, businesses are growing at different levels. Some businesses, unfortunately, in order for you to obtain certain types of funding to then increase your business, they're going to look for personal guarantees or some type of guarantee that if something happens to you, the engine of the business, that debt is going to be paid for. So we can make assignments to policy beneficiaries and things of that nature so that those business loans do have some type of financial support and backing. And that will be the case for a lot of small businesses in some regard until they get to a certain point.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much. We appreciate it, Alton. Rosalind, guess what time it is?
It's time for tip number 4. Tip number 4 simply is prepare for holiday now. So I know the majority of the people on here are in the service industry, but if you are in the retail space, this is something that I am passionate about. It is 129 days until Christmas. And so you have to start thinking now about holiday sales. And so what do I mean by that? 30% of your annual sales for most retailers comes in the month of December. Actually, the last 10 days before Christmas. Y'all know that's when y'all buying your gifts is the most critical of the entire year. So what can you do now? You can create goals and take small steps every single week to make sure that you're shored up with your supply chain, that you're in stock with your best sellers. Make sure that you're not running out of packaging on December 23rd. Number 2, utilize tools. So many tools now with so many businesses being in the e-commerce space. space are online. And so utilize the tools that help with inventory management, so you know what is on your shelves and what needs to be on your shelf. Get ready to launch those gift sets. Talk about gifts, put them on your website. Also, if you use Shop or Square or Clever, whatever your POS system is, there is great data that they provide as far as your sales, even by hour. The last thing, maximize your digital efficiency. You know what? It is all about easing that client through the shopping cart experience. Customers no longer want to go and get a credit card. So really consider having a digital wallet. Think about PayPal, Apple Pay, Google Pay, anything to help move him or her through that process. And so with that, are you ready for holiday? For all the retailers out there, I will tell you, DPI just dropped a very hot conversation with Deanna McIntosh, who is a retail consultant in the small business space. Renee's going to put the link. She gave some incredible nuggets about how to survive holidays. So make sure you check that out. So our last presenter is Wanda, and talk about digital marketing. She is our digital marketing professional. She is senior business advisor for Thrive. She's been supporting local businesses to gain market share for over 20 years. Digital marketing can be confusing and complex. However, with the Thrive software, it can simplify, automate processes by giving businesses tools they need to communicate with customers on their terms, be easy to do business with, and be clear about the choice in today's digital space, all in one platform. So, Miss Wanda, welcome, and so happy that you're here with us.
Thank you. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, good. Because I had to switch from my laptop to my phone, so that's why my background is gone. So please forgive, I'm in my car. So, getting found is hard, but getting chosen is harder. So what I try and do for all of the small businesses is to make it as easy as possible with, not so much heavy lifting. The markets have evolved. I mean, it used to be that the business owners were in control of everything, and now it's up to the consumers. The consumers are in the driver's seat. You have to appeal to what their wants, needs, and desires. Yeah, and sometimes that gets a little bit sketchy. So that's what the landscape is changing. Next slide, please. And as you can see, reviews are a really big situation right now. That's what I mean when the consumers are in the driver's seat. People will do what other people say, and it's growing. It can make or break a business. So by you as a business owner taking control of the reviews, and when I say take control of it, is that you got to know what's going on within your business. What is the customer experience? That is like imperative, because if you don't know what your customer experience is, then you're not going to know how well your business is doing. The more reviews that are good reviews are best, and the ones that are not so good, address them fast, quickly. Don't let it fester. People look at when you as a business owner take time to answer a bad review by simply just saying, hey, I'm so sorry that you experienced that. I'm the business owner. Please contact me personally and I will address that for you. And just keep it sweet and simple like that. And then people have enough common sense typically to say, okay, they care about their business, because we all want to do a really good job. So, and Google has made it very interesting and actually has it as one of their algorithms that if you are a business owner and you have your Google My Business page, which everybody should have, and if you don't, please contact me and I will be more than happy to help you set it up, because it's really super simple, easy. But you have your ads, the map, and the organic. The ads are at the top of the page. There are usually 3 or 4 of them there. Then you have the map pack, which is by physical location. So for a lot of you that are home-based businesses, this is where it gets a little tricky, and that's where I kind of come in to help you to make sure that you get into the map pack. And then you have the organic. The organic is basically your website, your web presence. How many search engines are you found on that make you not the needle in the haystack? And 41% of the consumers say that recency of reviews is really important. So you want to make sure that you have up-to-date recent reviews, not something from 2011 out there. So, and here's where it kind of gets interesting, because for a larger business, if they have 100 reviews, okay, or 1,000 clients and 100 reviews, then they're not going to get hurt too hard if they have one bad review. Whereas a small business, you're going to have less reviews, okay, 120 a year as opposed to 1,200. You get one bad review, it can tank you and take you from a 5.0 down to, like, let's say a 4.3. Or if you have more than one, then it takes you down into the 3s. So you have to keep up on the reviews. It's really imperative about not only answering them, but also getting them. Because the more that you get, then the less those people, because there's about 10% of the population that you're never going to be able to satisfy. I don't care what you do. And they'll make it their business to terrorize you on, online. They hide behind the computer. So it's really important to make sure that you get a lot of good reviews, answer the bad reviews, and then it won't hurt you so much if you do get a bad one. And now what we're going to do is I'm going to show you a quick video that'll kind of bring it all into scope for you. And then I'll answer any questions that you guys have.
Today, over 80% of all consumers use search engines to find local information. Unsurprisingly, almost 88% of all searches start with Google. Where and how you appear on Google can be the difference between growth and decline in your business. Over 91% of all search traffic comes from results on the first page. Over the years, many have tried to find tricks and quick fixes to get their business as high up as possible. Ultimately, Google rewards businesses who are easy to do business with. This is where Thrive is here to help. Your reputation is like the welcome mat to your business. Did you know that when searching for a business, 72% of consumers won't take action until they read a review? Thrive automates this process with a one-click review submission after transactions. And since 53% of consumers expect businesses to respond to their reviews, Thrive automates acknowledging your reviews on Google to save you time. Displaying an accurate and full profile on your Google My Business listing is paramount. Thrive will help you effortlessly and instantly claim your Google My Business listing. We not only update your information, we lock it and prevent it from being changed by anyone other than you. For example, if you make a change to your hours of operation in Thrive, it updates everywhere your business is found online. Make it easy for searchers to book with you first. With Reserve by Google, Thrive is integrated to allow consumers to book with your business directly from the first page of Google. Enabling this functionality improves the odds of appearing in the map pack on Google, which is the place to be. Stay fresh and relevant with Google Posts. Launched in 2016, this is a way for your business to publish fresh content and stories to your Google My Business listing, ensuring you stand apart from the competition. However, Google wipes these posts away automatically after 7 days, so having an automated system like Thrive post for you means you don't have to worry about a thing. Speed. Getting your site to rank higher in Google search results has a lot to do with speed. In November 2019, Google announced they would be adding a warning message to the Google Chrome browser if consumers visited a slow site. Thrive includes a best-in-class, professionally designed website focused on speed. Thrive websites have tested faster than WordPress, Shopify, Haibu, and Web.com. So with Google constantly changing and evolving, Thrive automates and centralizes all of these key opportunities for your business into a single platform. helping you run and manage your business even better.
Okay. So I thank everybody for letting me be a part of this. And if I can be of any help, please contact me and I'll help you reimagine your digital presence online.
Thank you, Wanda. I use Thrive for both of my businesses. I know that may sound like a shameless plug, but I use it for both of the businesses that I have, and it does wonders. The banker that I referenced earlier, Lawrence, he's on the call. When we do our wrap-up email, the tips that he provided to me when I had an opportunity to interview him, I will share those in the wrap-up email. Banking is so important for small businesses. It is an area where you need to get it right. And one of the things that I highly recommend is get to know your banker. And so Lawrence is with PNC Bank, located here in the Riverview area. And so thank you, Lawrence, for joining us. All right, Rosalind, back to you.
Okay, so in these last 3 minutes, we're going to wrap. At the end of the day, as you are reimagining the possibilities of your business, I want you to know, keep it simple. It is a lot of information that was shared, but what's most important is just keep it simple. Surround yourself with professionals that would help you see the blind spots in your business. That's why the Reimagine community is here. DPI, as a business consultant, we are always giving different tips. We have our YouTube channel that has great interviews that we're doing. We're going to be launching a mastermind session. So Renee's going to talk about how you can stay up to date with everything that is happening with DPI Business Consulting.
So what I want you to do is pull out your phone. You probably have it right there in front of you. Text DPI to 85100. So go to your text area and text DPI to 85100. We are not trying to sell your information, but we do want to give you tips. It is important. Rosalind and I have been in this entrepreneurial space for some time, and we want to pay it forward. There were individuals who sold into us, and we want to sow into you the tips and just strategies for your business. Okay. While you have your phones out, I'm going to put in the chat the link to give us a review. You know how important it is for you to have reviews. So we're going to ask, if you've gained anything from this presentation, please provide us a Google review. We would absolutely love it. So I will put that in the chat. Antoine, I know you asked about the chat. It erased when you went into the breakout rooms. Don't worry. We'll put that link as a part of the wrap-up email.
All right. A special thank you to our presenters, to our sponsors, DPI and Renee Scott Insurance. If you have any questions, info@dpi2.com. As I said, this has been recorded and I will be able to send out the link, and by the end of the week, I'll be able to send a recap email. So thank you so much for being a part of Reimagine. We appreciate each and every one of you being with us, taking time out, really focusing on your business. So have a wonderful rest of the week. And if there aren't any questions, we'll stay around for a little bit unless there's some, questions, but thank you so much, everyone.